Hopefully that's all working. Just pop a thing out to say I'm live. Though I know some of you know I was going live today, I actually gave a warning, a heads up, which is unusual for me. And that's my son back from college. No, work. Today's a work day, he's at work. He's on his unpaid work this morning and then his paid work this afternoon. Hi darling, I've just gone live, so if you don't want to be on camera, then come this way. I've literally just gone live. So at the moment there's nobody here, but there should be some coming over in a minute. Hopefully my sound is working. Last time I went live I had to restart because the sound wasn't working. My computer muted my mic for some reason. But hopefully it's working this time. We will see. Mm-hmm. Oh, someone's here. Hi Joe. Is my mic working? Can you hear me? Yay! I'm so worried it was going to go wrong again. I did all checks beforehand and it said it was all working, but never know because I never know what's going wrong with it. How are you today? I'm just sat weaving in some ends on the second one of these, and then they will be joined together to make a market bag. This is the first one I'm doing of them, but if I like it, then I'm going to do a bunch more. And I'm cold, so I've got my big hoodie thing on. Enjoy not working. Yeah, so many people working, aren't they? It sucks. I mean, technically I'm working, but mine's fun work. Are you on holiday or just on a day off? Pink is the best. I do have pink sat here. It's going to be the main part of the bag will be pink, and then this part's just the little pocket that it's going into. Ooh, 4 days left. Enjoy those 4 days. It's a shame it's so cold at the moment to go out and do things. Have you done anything fun over how many days you've been off? I found this pattern on YouTube when I was just browsing YouTube today. So I thought I'd give it a go. And it seems to be pretty simple. I think I can adjust these little pockets to designs that I want to come up with and then just attach the bag to it. Seems pretty simple to do. So looking forward to it. I did already do a test run joining them together. But the way she had it had the inside, the wrong side of the thing showing when it was in the little bag, and then the right side showing when it was open into the big bag on the base. But I'm not really bothered about the base being the right side. I'd rather the little bag be in the right side showing. So I'm just thought I took it apart, weaving in the ends, and I'll do it the opposite way around. Oh God, no! That's about when I go to sleep. There's no way you'd get me going up at that sort of time anymore. I'm too old. I'm not a morning person, and I'm definitely not a early morning person. Nice your sister visited. Bristol's not too far away from me. I haven't been there in years though. My family never visit me. I don't really have anyone come and visit me here, to be honest. Parking is a nightmare at my place. You attempt to come and visit me, and you've got to park half a mile down the bloody road. It's fun and games at the moment because my youngest Mally got his driving license at the end of last year, and my oldest Kurt is having his lessons here. Have his driving lesson, his driving test in May. So they've both got cars. And then, of course, we've got the car. But our driveway only fits like 1.5 cars on it. So it's a matter of squish 2 cars on hanging out a little bit, and the other person has to go and find a parking space down the road somewhere, which is usually Mally, because he's up and about at the earliest. I suppose, yeah, if you finish and then it gives you a sort of time. But the problem is, are you too tired to do anything else for the rest of the day when you finish at midday? Because I know I would be. Can't remember what it is you do. I know you've told me, but I've just got a head like a sieve. You know me. How's your Granny Square blanket coming along? Whoever else is watching, you can come and say hi. And see, it says there's others watching, but no one else chats. This was when I went live yesterday, briefly. There was people watching, but nobody would speak. Nobody would say anything. So in the end, I just said, I'm going to go because if no one's chatting, I've got nothing to say, have I really? That was it. See, I knew you said something. I can remember when I used to be a cleaner at a pub in the mornings before thing. I used to do the rooms upstairs and then do the pub downstairs. Can't say it's one of my most enjoyable jobs. I mean, the boss was lovely and got on great with him, and the rest of the staff. I loved it. It was literally up the road from me. And if I didn't have a babysitter, I was allowed to bring the kids along. They even bought Christmas presents for the kids. They were wonderful. But it's just, you can imagine the sort of mess pubs get left in. So it was not great. Oh, hi, Anita. And Nathan, sorry, my eyesight is getting terrible. It's really hard to see. How are you both? I do that. It's like I mistype so many things all the time. So I know that I need to reread what I type before I hit send. And yet instead I accidentally hit send and then have to send a second message with all the typos trying to explain what I meant. Luckily most people know me now, know what I mean. But there's been the odd thing that's not good. I don't know why I decided to do this multicolored. You know me, I hate weaving in ends, but it looks so pretty. This is your first live joint? Well, I can't promise mine will be thrilling. I'm one of the most boring people you'll ever meet. I just sit here and craft, and then yap about nothing really because I don't have much to say, but I enjoy chatting to people. I don't get to chat to the other adults other than Monday nights when I run my craft group and Tuesday nights when I go to my spinning group. And then I spend the rest of the week at home talking to Billy No Mates because Duncan works all week. He works from home, but he's upstairs in the office and he's on phone calls and things, so I can't really chat to him. And then Mally, my youngest, he goes to college for the first half of the week. And then Thursday and Friday, he does work experience at the garage where my middle son is doing his apprenticeship. And then he goes to work himself after that. So he does morning or to afternoon in one place and then evening in the other place. And then my oldest, he works nights, so he's in bed most of the morning, and then he pretty much gets washed, gets food, and then heads out, and I barely see him. So I'm usually very Billy No Mate, so it's nice just to go live and chat to people, which is why it's nice when people chat back. Yeah, this is my thing. I for years I never went out until I started my craft group, which introduced me to the spinning group. I never left the house. I only went out on weekends when Duncan took me out. Um, I officially I'm diagnosed as agoraphobic, um, so I don't leave the house on my own. Duncan takes me everywhere. But one of the lovely ladies from my craft group who goes to a spinning group, she actually collects me on the Tuesday evenings so I can go to a spinning group as well, which is lovely. Though that's now changing to Thursday daytime, so I don't know if she'll be able to take me or not. I'll have to wait and see. It's nice, isn't it, when you bump into people that you know so you can have a chat, because life gets so busy, you really don't get a chance to stop and chat to someone, do you? I mean, I use friends in the loosest term. They are friends from years ago, but I haven't seen any of them or spoke to any of them in absolute years. Their lives have just got super busy and they don't want to have to deal with someone who doesn't leave the house and doesn't party and drink or can't handle loud music because of my migraines. And so I'm not a fun person to hang around with nowadays. If you want to play board games, that's great because I love my board games and people come over here to play board games. But there's very few people I know who like to sit down and just have a chat and play board games. And yet I have a lot of them. So this is why I do so many crafts. It keeps me busy and stops my sanity from disappearing on me. Board games are awesome, aren't they? I have so many. I should do a video at some point and show them all. But some of them are lent out at the moment, so I'll wait for them to come back. We ended up with so many because what we did is we did a family board game every Yule, Christmas. For those who celebrate Christmas, I celebrate the winter solstice. But every year we had a family board game that we bought, so that was for everyone to play with. And my oldest is 25. So as you imagine, we've been going a while. And then we'd also buy other games that we want along the way as well. So we've accumulated quite a few. We've been some over the years, as kids play with them, bits get lost and that sort of stuff. But we've kept a good chunk of them. And we play all sorts of games. Our latest family board game was actually something our oldest introduced us to. It's called Red Dragon Inn. And I don't know if you know it, but basically it's a drinking game for the characters. It's not aimed for you to be drinking, though you can, and we have. But the characters have a stamina and a drink thing. And if they meet, it means you drunk too much, you passed out, and you're out of the game. If you run out of money, you can't pay the barman, you're out of the game. So the aim is to get your colleagues and the other characters completely drunk or spend all their money so they're out of the game. So it's a card-based game, but it has a little board with counters for it, and it's absolutely hilarious. We love it. Yeah, I use a wheelchair when I'm out and about, because though I can walk and I walk around the house mostly fine, everything's laid out in this house that there's always a surface for me to hold on to. So if my head goes funny or my legs go funny, I'm good. Out of the house, I'm either on my crutches or I'm in my wheelchair. If it's a short trip, I use my crutches. If it's a long trip, like going around the supermarket, I'm in my wheelchair. And I can't lift my wheelchair, it's too heavy, so Duncan has to do it for me. Nothing wrong with Monopoly. We love Monopoly. I'm not very good at. We love Scrabble, but I'm not very good at Scrabble. So I do have Upwords, which is Scrabble adjacent. I don't know if you've ever played Upwords. It's kind of like Scrabble, but you can actually put the tiles on top of each other, so you can change food to good, or you swap out letters to make a new word and build up. So it gives you more chances of creating words, which is good fun. And it was a great way for the boys to learn spelling when they were younger. And it's something my mum loves playing because she's dyslexic and she has a little trouble. So it's something she can play. I've not heard of Exploding Kittens, but we do have Cards Against Humanity, and I actually have the Disney version of Cards Against Humanity as well, which is so rude, but I love it. I know Cards Against Humanity is quite controversial for a lot of people, and it is really bad, but it is fun, and it's a good laugh in it. Like, you'll see me drinking this a lot through the chat when my throat gets dry. This is my new obsession, Sicilian lemonade. It's got so few calories and it tastes very much like traditional lemonade. It's quite bitter. I love it. Much better than boiling old water, which I do drink as well. I have water beside me. Can't remember how far away from me you are, Joe, but maybe one day you can come down and we'll all play some games. Maybe do a yarn shopping trip to a yarn event close by somewhere and then come and play board games. Not that there's many yarn events close by me. It's really quite disturbing. Not disturbing, depressing. I have to travel quite far to get to yarn events. And of course, I want to sell my yarn at yarn events. So I've been trying to find ones closer to me, but it's got to the point I think I'm just going to North Devon. Oh, not far away at all, and also closer to some of the yarn events I've been looking at. I miss Devon. I lived in Plymouth for years and I loved it. I don't think I can handle the hills in Plymouth anymore. But I do miss Devon, and it's my plans to go back that way once the children are all left home and Duncan can get to work safely, because his job is actually London, even though he works from home most of the time, so he needs to be able to get to work. So we'll have to wait until he doesn't have to travel to London. There you go. Ends all woven in. So now I'm just going to join the pieces together. And this time, instead of doing right side to right side, I'm going to do wrong side to wrong side. And then that way the other side will be in the right place. And I think that's better for me. Just line them up. I need to make sure they line up because they annoy me if it doesn't line up. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, I know that place. Yeah, been there. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'll find many places in Devon, Cornwall area that doesn't have hills, but I'll try. My middle son likes going down Devon, Cornwall way. I can't remember where it is he goes, but there's a surfing place he likes to go to, like a little holiday place, which he loves. So he tends to go down on holiday more than I do. Don't know why for the first one I chose to do a dark colour, but oh well, never mind. I think next time I'll make sure the last one that I join these with is a lighter colour, so that it doesn't what do you call it, be so hard to see what I'm doing to join together. Because though the light's on here, it's not particularly great light. Though I do have light shining through. That's actually my conservatory right beside me, so there's a lot of light. But I close the curtains on the other end mostly because the sun glintens off the cars and does my head in. You know what? My boys aren't allowed to help me in the wheelchair. I mean, I now have an electric one, but when I had my manual, they decided my wheelchair was a racing car. And they used to try to race me and skid me around the corners of supermarkets and around town and things. And I'm like, I am not a toy racing car. You are not allowed to push me anymore. But my mum was telling me she went on holiday with her sisters once. And she was in a wheelchair. They were pushing her around. And I guess they decided it would be fun to let go of her at the top of the hill and let her run all the way down. She landed in a bush. So I think it's in people's blood that they just like to torment us while we're in our chairs. Yeah, I always say to Duncan, if he wants dogs, he's got to take care of them, because I've been and raised the children. I don't want to have to worry about where I'm going to go, that I have it's child friendly or dog friendly, all that sort of stuff. It's like, no, I've been there, done that. I don't want it again. So no dogs here for Duncan. I mean, I'm not a dog person anyway. I'm actually quite afraid of dogs. Um, but I'm getting better. We used to babysit, dog sit Duncan's parents' dog. We had to get special permission from the landlord because they didn't allow pets here. But she was really old, so she couldn't do much. She thought she was a puppy, but she was really old. But bless her, she couldn't handle walking on our laminate floors. We had to put rugs all the way down so she could walk on them, because otherwise she just kind of splayed out like that, bless her. You really love animals, though, don't you? I mean, you have so many. I don't know how you cope. I had one cat once. We've had fish. As a kid, I had lots of rabbits, birds, and gone straight out of my head. We had one dog. Guinea pigs, hamsters. Hamsters. That's the word I was looking for. Hamsters. But I don't know what I did wrong, but they kept dying on me. So we don't have them. We did get our middle son a hamster, and he had that for several years before it passed on. And we did have fish, but I decided it's much better to have a pet-free home. I mean, like, my business side of it is pet-free anyway, so I couldn't really have pets in the house. But I enjoy not having pets because it's so much less stress to worry about, because there's just so much you have to do, making sure they're washed and fed and changed and kept. Let's face it, vet bills are not cheap. So I'd rather have my craft than pets. My therapist once, for my agoraphobia, said that maybe we should get a dog to get me to go out for walks. I'm like, no. Dogs scare the life out of me as it is, and then leave me in full control of one. That would not go well. 2 fish tanks and 4 cats as well. I don't know how you cope. Oh no. That's awful, Anita. Your poor dad. Shame it wasn't on you being framed. You could have made yourself some money from it. Is that thing even still around? I know for a while it was around under different various names, wasn't it? But I know the last time I tried to watch You've Been Framed, it was all different. It wasn't the funny things. It was clearly people intentionally doing things to get on camera and get paid, and that took away the fun of it for me. I liked the accidental funny things. I also didn't like it when lots of people got hurt, and that was something people did. So has anyone got any good crafts going for February? I haven't actually worked out what my February challenge item is going to be. I'm thinking I might make myself one of these bags, to be honest, because I've wanted one for years. So I might make myself a fully pink one, just so that I've got one, because I've never got around to making myself one. But I also would like some new wrist warmers. And then I really want a jumper, because I don't really have many jumpers, but I'm not sure I can knock off a jumper in yeah, definitely can't knock a jumper off in the amount of days we've got left. So maybe I'll just make myself one of these bags, and that can be my February challenge bag. That's the only problem. Each challenge is only a month, so some of my bigger projects I don't think I'll be able to do as part of the challenge. Hi, Lydia, is it? I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I'm terrible at it. I'm currently joining together 2 motifs. And then I will be attaching a market bag to it. So this would be a little bag you tuck your market bag into, so that it's compact down out of the way. You can throw in your handbag and then open it up when you need it. So this is my first attempt, so we're hoping it goes well. A mini almighty. I don't actually know what that is. Oh, we go. Do you want to explain that one? Oh, a mini amigurumi. Ooh, cute. You make nice, awesome toys. I love your toys. I miss making toys, but the rules keep changing on the testing, and I can't afford to keep up with it, so I've just stopped doing them yet. You haven't picked the pattern yet. That's right. You can be like me. We'll be behind. Kat done well. She's done her project already. Normally she's like us, a little behind, not picking things up. Ooh, pretty. What sort of wrap? I love wraps. Probably a little too much. I have a lot of them. My favourite type at the moment, though, are weaving ones. If you were here last week, you would have seen this one here that's woven on my ink loop. I love that one. But I want to make myself some more, so I've been spinning up some yarn to weave into some more wraps. How long have I been live today? It is 26 minutes. In general, I haven't actually been live I'd done a live last week, and then I hadn't been live in like 4 years. I got a little distracted over the years, so I hadn't done many lives. But yeah, I've only been live for about 26 minutes today, so you don't miss much. Just me weaving in the ends on this, and now I'm joining them. I've been trying to find more UKers to follow that do live chats and things, so I can join into them. And I actually, a lady who I can't remember who recommended me to her, but I've been following her for like a week or so now. And she went live Tuesday, I think she went live. So I chatted with her on that. She was teaching blending the fibers for spinning on her blending board, and that was amazing. Absolutely loved it. Because I'm still reasonably new to spinning. I mean, I've been spinning a year and a half or so now. But I've not really made my own fibers to spin other than the alpaca that I got at the road, which I've washed hand carded myself. But to do bats and things, I don't have a drum card or a blending board, so learning about all that was really cool. So I really enjoyed that. So hopefully you'll see me doing some of that sort of stuff on this channel at some point, but I need to buy a blending board and a drum carder first. Though I can't remember her name, but she was saying that she actually made her blending board. So I might give that a go. I'm going to watch back on her previous videos because I think she said she's mentioned about how she's done it a few times. So I'm going to watch them all back, because when I find a new channel, I try to binge watch all of their previous videos so I can get caught up on everything they've shared. But I haven't had a chance to yet, because I actually just started watching. It's been going for 7 years, but I've just started watching it. Gilmore Girls. So I've been binging that at the moment. I'll check you out. Let me write your name down, because I'm never sure if this chat is going to stay on the video after I tell it to, but it seems to disappear. I have a pad and pen here somewhere. If you can't tell, I'm piled with yarn here for the colours I've been working on. There we go. And where's my notepad? I keep packing things away so I forget where I put them. I have like 5 notepads and I can never find them. Oh, there's one. Let's write in this one. These things, I made these absolutely years ago. Hand sewn them and everything. I miss making these sort of things. I'll probably make some more again. Let's put on the back here. This is my note section. So, yeah. I've got to look close because my eyesight is terrible. Love finding new channels. Yeah, I mean, my channel's been going. When did I start? 2017, maybe? And I posted regularly for the first year or so, and then I started my study. And then I started doing events for my business, and my YouTube channel kind of fell to the side. I just didn't have time or the energy to do anything. So I very rarely posted. I was lucky to post once a month at one point. But this year I've cut back on how many stalls I'm doing. I've already finished my degree, so I should be able to post more again. Though I haven't posted as much as I would have liked already because I've just been too tired. But that's because I worked doing a very large amount of stalls for the Christmas events last year. And so January and February are my recovery time. Because it takes me a long time in my body, a long time to recover from doing events and things. And then I'm finding doing my Monday night group and the Tuesday night spinning group is also taking a lot out of me because I love hanging around with people, other craft people, chatting and doing crafts, but it is very high anxiety, so it wears me out. So I tend to end up resting for the whole of Wednesdays, which is why I enjoy watching Denise's live when she's live on Wednesdays because it doesn't take much energy then. And then I just do some gentle crafts, and then Thursday and Friday I try to do a bit more. So today I've been doing this basket, not basket, this bag. Yeah, if you haven't seen Joe's amigurumi that she makes, the monsters one, you should join my Facebook group and see them. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. I wish I could have made a load of them, but by the time I discovered them through Joe, my kids had grown up and no longer wanting toys. Most of my nieces and nephews had grown up, and those are types that you can't actually sell because the patterns come from, I can't remember, is it Toftier ones? I can't remember. But whoever it is, they don't allow you to sell their toys after they're made. So I just never got around to making them. I better count this before I join them up, so otherwise I'll forget to leave the hole. Which would be just my luck. I'll do the whole thing and forget. Yeah, mine are all grown up now. I think my youngest is one of my nieces, and I think she's 7 or 8, but she's not really into cuddly toys and things. Most of my nieces and nephews are in their late teens, early 20s. I think apart from my youngest one, the next one is, I think she's 14. I think that's the next one. I'm hoping I'm not forgetting one, so there's quite a gap. So they're all over a bit that, you know. Oh no, I hate trapping my nerve. That hurts so bad, doesn't it? And you can't. People just don't realize how bad trapping a nerve is and how much it can affect the ability to craft because it's just agony. I hope it gets untrapped and the swelling goes down pretty fast because I know that's a nightmare. A rainbow blanket though is freaking awesome. Anything with lots of colour is what I love. I love. You can't tell because I look like I only wear black and white, but I absolutely love colour. So I absolutely. I make as many colourful things as I can, which is why all the yarn I dye is really bright colours. Oh, now, cake in payment is a fantastic payment. I would totally take cake. The law in the UK over it is actually a grey area. If they state that you can't make it, they have a right to sue you. And I can't afford to be sued. 12 weeks and is still trapped. Ooh. I hope the physio helps a lot more. I ended up doing, what do you call it? In a hot swimming pool physio. I can't think what the term is they use now, but when you go, it's actually the pool used for people with spinal injuries up in our hospital. So the water's warm and better. I did my physio for my shoulder and that up there, which was great, because that pool has a higher ledge section. Because I'm afraid hydro pool. Thank you. I'm actually afraid of water because I almost drowned as a kid. So getting me in the water is hard work. But that's how much pain I was in that I was going to go and do it. So I was able to stand on this. It's not like a little ledge. It's a wide area to the side of the pool attached. So I could go into the steps and go to the side part while everyone else went in the big pool, and I got to stand in that bit. So the water only came up to here, and then they give me double of the pool noodle things for doing the exercises that I did with them. And there's always someone stood beside me in case I panicked. Which was really good. They were really great about it, and I've actually really enjoyed being in that section. And if they made pools that were only that shallow, you might get me in them more often. So kiddie pools, but not kiddie pools at proper swimming pool places. They're so cold. I don't like them. I've always wanted a hot tub. If we had somewhere to put one out in the back garden, we'd totally have a hot tub. But there's nowhere to put one because the garden's tiny. But my twin sister and my brother, who lived near each other, they both had one. My brother now lives with my mother because he's separated from his wife. But my sister's still got hers, but I don't think she uses it because she works all day, so she doesn't have time to use it. I keep saying give it to me, but even if she gave it to me, there'd be nowhere to put it. You can't use a walking stick to the pool. What's the point of having a disability change room if they don't allow you to use your mobility aids? The few times that Duncan got me to go swimming to help me with my fear of swimming and to try to lose weight, they let me take my crutches right up to the pool, and we just put them along the edge of the wall so they're out of the way, and then Duncan would help me in, and then he'd have to help me back out of the pool. You know, when you get out of the pool and the water weight changes, my legs aren't strong enough, so Duncan would push me up. The looks we used to get was hilarious, but it got me in and out. But I stopped going because people could clearly see that I needed to be holding on to the edge. It's pretty obvious when someone's afraid in the water, but they stand there and chat and not get out of my way. So I couldn't continue to use a normal pool. So I just gave up again. So some people are just rude, but I mean, why they won't let you use things? If they've got an area you can put it out of the way, what's the problem? It's not like you're going to be running and swinging on them, is it? I mean, our pool does have one of those hoist things to help people in and out, which I was so pleased with. That's something they made sure when I was doing my therapy, they had a hoist to be able to get me out. So if my legs wouldn't lift me out, they'd be able to get me out for me. But most of the people I was doing my physio with, because it was group physio, they were really lovely, and they waited for me to be able to slowly lift myself out of the pool. They didn't get moody or anything, so that was really quite nice. And yeah, we were able to take our sticks right up to the pool. I can't see why they wouldn't. That's stupid. What's the point of having disability changing rooms if you can't take your mobility aid with you to the pool? I know one person takes their wheelchair to the pool, and they just park the wheelchair up at the side. So that's just stupid. I need to count this. I still haven't done that. That's what I go. I get chatting and I don't do any craft. Oh, gone too far. There we go. We've got them joined, so now I just need to create the little handle bit and then we can start creating the bag. The hoist is only allowed for people up to the age of 16. Do they think that suddenly people after 16 stop being disabled? We actually have a local lady here called Kez. Kez. K-E-Z. Is that Kez? But anyway, she's been fighting with all of the councillors around here to get better accessibility for disabled people, and she is fantastic. She pulls them up on it, all of it. She doesn't allow them to go with anything. So she's been fighting them continuously for better access for all of us, because it's shocking, the access around here. I mean, even just in my street, I have to use my wheelchair on the road, and then I have to cross the road that's around a corner in order to get up a drop curb, because there's no drop curbs that will get me across the road on my side. And then when you get further over to the main road, there's no drop curbs that are opposite each other. So you have to go down one, drive up the road to go across to be able to go onto the other drop curb, which is insane, because I know there's at least one, if not two, children using wheelchairs on their own around here. They should be safe for them to use. And there's a lot of shops that I can't even get my chair into. I mean, some physically won't go through the door, but others, they've filled so much shelving around that I can't take my wheelchair around it. So we have to fold the wheelchair down and I have to use my crutches to walk around. But we bring the wheelchair in the shop. I'm not leaving outside. Some people will nick it. So we have to dump it by the door, which I don't think is particularly keen by some people, but it's tough. I am in a wheelchair when I'm doing longer trips. So around a shop, a supermarket shop around town, if we're going out to the beach. Not that my wheelchair goes on the beach, but it can handle the compact stuff. Or if we go out to the woods for a walk, then I use my wheelchair because I can't walk for too far. But I can use my crutches if it's a short trip from the car to like my craft group. I literally park up, walk through the door, and we basically are in the cafe after we've been through reception. So I can use my crutches or my walking sticks for that. But if it's a long trip, I have to use my wheelchair, because otherwise I will be having to carry for the rest of it. And I'm a big girl. You can't carry me around. They got rid of the disability trolleys because there's no call. What? Of course there's a call for them. I see them used quite a lot around Tesco's. Our Tesco's isn't too bad. They actually have the disability wheelchair trolleys. They provide wheelchairs and they provide mobility scooters within the store for you to use, which is really good. And while I was waiting for my new chair, I used that and it was really good. And we do have a mobility shop in town where you can hire out mobility scooters and wheelchairs for while you're in town. So we're quite lucky. But parking for disabled around our way is hit and miss. Yeah, I can't see why any store would think that that's no call for disability. But then I did see a post once when we were there was somebody moaning about people who don't have blue badges parking in the blue badger spots in the supermarkets and things. And somebody actually commented and go, why do you need to keep the blue badges open in the evenings? Disabled people shouldn't be out in the evenings. They don't need to be out in the evenings. Like, we're not adults and we want to go out in the evenings. Apparently we're only allowed out in the afternoon. So we have to be hidden away otherwise. Which is what? Some people are just insane. But it's lovely to meet you as well. You'll find I chat about anything and everything. It's not always crafts on this channel. Even the videos I put out, some of it's crafts, some of it's patterns, some's when I go out and about for the day. Whatever I fancy goes on this channel, basically. People say that I should pick one thing, and that's what I should concentrate on. The same with my business. People say I should pick one thing, concentrate on that and nothing else. Not going to happen. I have multiple crafts. I have multiple content, and I chat about anything and everything because my mind jumps everywhere, and so that's who I am, and I'm not going to hide it. See, I learned to knit before I learned to crochet, and I found crochet really hard at first. But I found a lot of people who crocheted first found knitting really hard at first. So it's been quite interesting to see how we all learn and how we hold our yarn in our hook, depending on whether you crocheted first or knitted first, and finding that there's a difference for the way, because a lot of people who held their yarn for one specific way hold their yarn that same way for knitting or crochet. Like I hold my yarn wrapped around my hand like that and my crochet hook in this hand, whereas I know some people hold both in one hand. I can't do that. Whereas so I actually hold my yarn as I would if I was doing continental knitting, because if I was, when I do colour work, when I'm knitting, I have yarn in one hand and the other yarn in the other hand. So I do English throw with my right hand and then continental style with my left hand for my colour work. And so I found that when I took up crochet, I automatically held the yarn as I would when I'm doing continental knitting, rather than some people who do it English throw method. And I can't do crochet with the English throw method, even though I can knit with the English throw method. It's very confusing for me. See, I sort of was taught when I was very young. Back when I was very young, up until about 9, I think I stopped. I was a child actress, just extras and theatre shows and things. And you obviously missed school for some of that. And so we had some of the older ladies teaching us. But by the time I left that, I forgot how to do any of it. And it wasn't until I think I was about 22, I decided to pick up knitting again and relearned knitting. And then when I moved back to Salisbury from Plymouth, well, I went from Plymouth to Scotland and then from Scotland to Salisbury. But when I come back to Salisbury, I found a lovely lady online who taught me how to crochet, and it took one day for her to teach me. I'd had other people try to teach me for years and I couldn't do it. She took one day and I haven't stopped crocheting since. She was fantastic. And then after knitting and crochet, obviously, I learned a whole bunch of other crafts because I have issues and I have to do them all. Yeah, see, Sharon, who won last month's challenge, she holds a yarn and a hook in the same hand. And I was watching her on Monday and how she makes it look so easy, but I just can't do it. There was a lady in our group actually who's been crocheting for absolute years, but there we go, that's the sun on the car. But yeah, she came to one of my learn to crochet workshops because though she knew the basics of crochet, she'd only ever known how to do a single crochet. She'd never learned any other stitches. So she wanted to learn all the other stitches, which I thought was really cool. So she now does all sorts of ones, but I haven't seen her. She hasn't come back to the craft group this year. She came regularly last year, but she hasn't come back this year. So I must message her and find out if she's all right. I'm currently in Salisbury, and that's I was born in Salisbury, Wiltshire, and that's the UK. So I was born here in Salisbury. Then I moved to Plymouth to join Duncan. That's my husband when he was down there at uni. After we'd already had 2 kids, which I raised partly here by myself, and then we both, me and the kids, moved down to Plymouth to be with Duncan. And then we went up to Scotland where my twin sister had moved. She'd moved to Plymouth to be with us, and then she'd moved to Scotland, and I moved to Scotland to be with her, and then I moved back down to Salisbury, and then we went to Southampton, and then back to Salisbury. And we're actually in a little village called Alderbury, which is actually where I grew up from 12 until 16. And it's a lovely little village, but it's changed a lot over the years. A lot more houses have been built, so there's a lot more people here. So it's not the little quaint village that I grew up in, and a lot of the open spaces are now housing estates, which is a shame. But it's still lovely. But I dream of going back down to Devon. I want to be near a beach, ideally in Devon and Cornwall, but I will take a beach anywhere, as long as it's a sand beach, not a pebble beach. So right now it is 2:54 in the afternoon, according to my computer, so in theory that's correct. Oh, 2:55 in the afternoon. I am not getting much of this done, am I? This is what I'm like on my Monday night groups. I spend more time chatting than I do crafting. It's a good job I don't have a timeline for this, and I can just do it whenever I feel like it. Though I do really have to get some stock made, and my next stall is in March, so I really should get some stock made for then. Because I've actually sold out of almost everything from over Christmas, because I did so many stalls. Okay, won't go there then. Yeah, we travel, I think it's about an hour away to Mudderford or Avon Beach. They kind of bleed into one another, and that's my favourite place to go around here. I don't like going to Bournemouth Beach because it's just so crowded, because Bournemouth Beach is a very touristy area and it's just horrid. So I like the quieter beaches. You're in Nebraska. 8:55 a.m. Wow, you're up early and awake. I am not a morning person. I would not be able to chat to people at that time in the morning. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us. My lives tend to be from 2 o'clock onwards. So it's always going to be this sort of time, because with Duncan working upstairs, he does lunch between 1 and 2. So I don't tend to go live until 2 o'clock onwards. That way he's done his lunch and he's upstairs. And usually at that time, the boys have done whatever they got done, gone off to work, got back from college and all that sort of stuff. So they're not in and out either. It just makes it easier. This is one of your local beaches, is it, Joe? Some of the beaches around here are actually pretty good for access. Not all of them, but some of them are really good for access around here, which is really lovely. That's why we like to go to Mudderford and Avon. You can park at Mudderford Quay, and then there's literally a pathway all the way along to Avon Beach, and then to there's a whole, it's like one big long line. Each section is a different name for the beach, but you can basically get from one end to the other through various paths. And though there is steps for some, there's always a ramp for the wheelchair to use on almost all of them, and there is disabled toilets with wheelchair access as well. So it's not bad. It's not too bad at all. I can't get my wheelchair onto the beach. My wheelchair's not designed for that, but it can handle the top end of the beach that's been compacted down where everyone walking on it. That bit my wheelchair will handle, so I can go on that. So I can still sort of get onto the beach, and then we could just fold the chair up. I use my crutches to walk further down, and Duncan pulls the chair. So it's not too bad. I'd love one day to be able to find a beach that has those beach wheelchairs with those massive blown up wheels. They look so cool. And that would make it a little easier to take a walk on the actual beach instead of at the top. But I'm quite happy to take a walk at the top. then get Duncan to bring the chair down and just sit there and not move, and then knit, crochet, take photos, draw, paint, whatever I fancy doing. Duncan's hopefully gonna take up paddleboarding, so we'll go there. He'll go off doing a paddleboarding, and I'll just sit and craft on the beach, which is my ideal day. That's what I like doing. Oh wow, 8 years on the Isle of Wight. I haven't. Excuse me, sorry. I went to the Isle of Wight as a kid a lot. Mum and Dad took us on holidays there as a real young thing. So young enough to remember that I went. Um, but the only thing I remember is we went to a place that had these giant model elephants and things, and I loved it. It was fantastic. That's the only thing I remember. And we stopped going there. I probably would have been 6 when we stopped because my parents got divorced by the time I was 8. So and that's the last time I went. I haven't been since. So I'd love to go back again, but when I looked up the cost of going, I changed my mind because it's a lot of money. Cool. We actually, one of my old study buddies lives on the Isle of Wight. We were going to go and visit him at some point, but we had a falling out. So I haven't. But you can actually see the Isle of Wight from the beach that I go to. So I actually have a bunch of photos of just like the I can't think what it's called, the little peek out bit, which is quite nice. But yeah, there's not much that is within Salisbury. There's not really any. I mean, there's the cathedral for the tourists, but that's about it. There's not nothing to hang about in, so we tend to travel further away to go out for days. Do you mean what season are we in? We're in winter coming into spring. That feels like it's midwinter right now because it's so cold. We're in the middle of a cold snap. At least cold for me. I don't like the cold. That sun is really bright. I'm going to be back in a second. I'm just going to go and pull that curtain across to get rid of the sun out of my eye because it's bouncing off of my son's car. Oh, in fact, Kurt, can you just pull the curtain off so you can get up?
Yeah, 1 second.
That's my eldest son. He's getting ready to go to work. Thank you, darling. Perfect. Thank you. There you go. I'm not going blind now. I've never heard of that. I'll have to look it up. I like discovering new places. I loved, always wanted to travel. I'd actually planned on training as a hairdresser and being a hairdresser on cruise ships to travel the world. That was my goal as a teenager. But then I got pregnant and things changed. And now I'm too afraid to travel or go anywhere because I have issues. But one day I will travel. But my niece has been traveling a lot recently. She has a job where she works like 48 hours in one go. So she gets a bunch of days off. So when they line up like with weekends, she's been traveling. She's been to Budapest, to Egypt. I can't remember where she's been recently, but she just keeps going all over the place, and I'm living through her, looking at all the photos, and it's so gorgeous. Yeah, I must find out where my middle son goes for the surfing area because I reckon Duncan would quite like that. And I'm sure I can just sit on the beach and craft again. Because as long as I got my craft supplies, I'm good. See, I am slowly getting some work done on this. Surfing looks amazing, and I know that my middle son absolutely loves it, but I can't stand up on solid ground. There's no way I'm standing up on a board in the water. Maybe we should all have a holiday down to Devon. We'll have a crafting holiday. Actually, saying that, one of the women in my craft group says she's actually going to Devon. Apparently, there's a craft hotel down there where you literally just go to the hotel and there's loads of different craft workshops. And her husband's going to go off and do some other stuff where she gets to spend the holiday crafting. It's like, yep, I want to go there. That's my holiday. That'd be so cool. See, we'd love Duncan would always wanted an RV or a camper of some kind to drive around and go on holiday somewhere. But we literally have nowhere to park one, so it'd be pointless having one. Yeah, we'll all go to the craft hotel. That sounds like the perfect plan. The men folk can go off and do their thing, and we'll all sit in craft all day. Is it very expensive? I've literally not looked. She was only telling me about it on Monday, and then me being me, by the time I got home, I forgot the name of the hotel. So we know what you meant, Joe. The amount of times I've wrote Duncan but mistyped, and instead of a D, I put an S, so he's become Sunken. That it got to the point that in the family craft group they just changed the name to Sunken. I always blame it on my fat thumbs. That's the thing with touchscreen phones is my thumbs are too fat and I hit multiple buttons at the same time. I got a bigger screen this time because often I go for the smallest version of the phone and Duncan gets the biggest version. But I got the same one as him this time in the hope that I wouldn't keep mistyping things. That didn't work so well, and I still mistype everything. But then I have a keyboard from a computer, and I still mistype on there. So I'm just the problem is my brain works faster than my fingers, so I just start typing and I can miss out letters because I think I've already typed it when I haven't. I miss whole words out because I think I've said it and I haven't. If you're having a chat conversation with me, it's hilarious because 9 times out of 10 I send so many corrections to it. Though I've just discovered you can edit iMessages. Discovered that yesterday. I don't know how long you've been able to, but I only discovered yesterday. So now I can edit the messages instead of sending corrections, which is quite nice. £500 for a weekend. Jeez. It costs less for my niece to go to Budapest. Okay, maybe the craft weekend will have to wait. Have to get a lottery win first. For my business to suddenly go viral. I don't think I could handle it if I went viral. I like having a small community that I can chat to. If there's so many people chatting, like some people who have to have like slow mode on their chat because there's just so much chat going through it, that would do my head in. I like having a small community where it's just a few people I'm chatting to. That's much more fun to me. That sounds perfect. Yeah, we'll come to your summer house instead, Joe. I'd invite you here, but one, there's really not that pretty, and two, there's no room. Ooh, yeah, craft cottage. Let's hire a cottage somewhere. What I'll have to do is get you lot to look for nice ones down there, and then you can tell me, and then we can arrange a retreat down there. Right. finished that little bit. Now we're gonna do pink and attach the thing. But first I'm gonna weave in my end, because if I don't do it straight away, by the time I get to the end, I'll just cry, put it in the corner in a timeout, and it'll never get finished. Because I really, really don't like weaving in my ends. This is why I like yarn cakes for doing granny squares, because then I get all the colour without actually having to weave in any ends. Yeah, as long as I've got my peppermint tea, gluten-free cake, gluten-free and dairy-free cake, and my craft stuff, I'm good. That's all I need. Don't need anything more. It's like my sister, my twin sister, she wants to go away on holiday for birthday. But she wants to go to a place with sun, sea, sand, lots of alcohol, all that stuff. And I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare to me. I'd rather just go to sun, sea, sand, and quietness. No alcohol, just crafts. I've always wanted to go for a holiday is in a cabin in the woods, which a lot of people go to me. Do you know watch horror movies? I love horror movies. But I've always wanted to do a cabin in the woods. But the one time Duncan actually was going to surprise me for my 40th, he already looked up the cabin and everything, put the money aside. COVID hit and we couldn't go anywhere. So I spent my 40th birthday at home in lockdown. So we never made it. Let's find the end of this yarn and start making the actual bag part. Yeah, just remember which way around it goes, that way. This is now finding out the pink part, which I like because, you know, pink in me. Yeah, I don't do crowds. So there's some absolutely gorgeous beach houses down at Motherford and Avon Beach. Absolutely stunning. But you literally could buy a house cheaper in the posh end of this village than you could buy one of those. Oh, one nightmare timing. Blimmin' nightmare, innit? They ruined. So I know why they had to do the lockdown, so it was a sensible plan to do the lockdown. But so many people's big birthdays and weddings were ruined by COVID. um, it's taken a few years for people to catch. I know one lady who same age as me, and she actually done her 40th birthday celebrations at the end of last year, and she went to Vegas. So she got on her 42nd, she celebrated her 40th. That is genuinely my plan. If I win the lottery, I'm buying a place where I can open up my own shop and have attached to it a craft retreat near a beach so that I can have people come and just craft and shop and just enjoy an entire craft related week or weekend or whatever. That is my aim. I must be the only person who aims to work more after winning the lottery. Oh wow. My next door neighbour, Shirley, bless her, she'd actually gone, she's got family over in Australia and she goes to see them regularly. And she'd actually flown out to Australia to see them. And then COVID hit while she was out in lockdown went in, while she was in Australia. She ended up overstaying her visa in Australia because they couldn't send her back. She's like, I'm overstaying, arrest me, deport me, and they wouldn't send her back because no one was allowed to travel. So she ended up staying with her sister for, I think it was 2 months longer than she was supposed to. So her poor husband was left here on his own. I'm like, if I had to be left in a country somewhere, Australia would be a nice one. She got to swim with dolphins and all that sort of stuff. It's like, that's not bad. This part's the easy part now. So it's just a matter of working in a circle, doing chains until I get the bag the height that I want. So I don't actually know how many rows I'm going to do yet. I'm going to wing it. I'm just going to see how big it is and how much yarn I've got left, and see where I end up. As this is the first time I've made it, I don't actually know how much yarn it's going to use. But my colour choices are probably a little weird for some people, but as I said, I like colour, and I'm using up balls that I've used for face scrubbies and other stuff, and they're not really big enough for a project on their own, so they need to be colour worked, you know. Oh god, I can safely say I've never had to worry about an earthquake because I don't go anywhere. It must have been terrifying. The ones that they've just had are absolutely shocking. It just made me, I want to say it made me laugh, but it's not. It didn't make me laugh. It's, you know, the saying. Um, I was watching on TikTok. Someone had shown video footage of the earthquake and one of the buildings just tumbling down, and someone in the comments was like, what was it made of? Super glue and sticks. It's like, do they not realize how powerful an earthquake is? It will destroy well-built buildings, um, and it's so scary. I'm glad there's something we don't have to worry about over here. Oh, yeah, that was terrible. Have you seen the crater that's opened up in Africa? Um, that looks terrifying. I think Mother Nature is trying to tell us something, that we're pulling apart the planet. We've been going for an hour, 12 minutes, and I've managed to join them together and do that. This is why I don't get any work done when I do craft groups, because I just spend the whole time chatting instead. But that's the point. Craft and chat. I just chat more than I craft. The only problem with this cotton is it's quite splitty. It's James C. Brett. It's 100% pure cotton, DK cotton, and it's nice cotton, but it's very splitty, and that annoys me. This is what I wonder. Um, is it more, or do we know more about what's going on in the world because we have the web? And I suppose there's no way of really knowing unless you look at all the statistics for things. It's like, um, we're all much more careful with our children out of the house now because we know what weirdos are about. But are there more weirdos, or is it just that we know the weirdos are there now because it's said about in the internet, so we know about them? And it always wonders. Signet. I might have to get the Signet one and try that and see what that's like, because this stuff is doing my head in. It's just, it doesn't look as neat as some of the other cottons I've used, because the thing, I used to use the Dicorium, Rico Dicorium, I think it's called. But for my face scrubbies, I used little 25 gram balls. But I wanted some cotton for bigger projects. So I wanted bigger balls. And this is what was in the local shop. And they do a really nice colour range, because it's all the same yarn that I'm using here. But yeah, it is very easy to split. So I'm not particularly happy with it. And once I've used this up, I'm gonna look at a different one. So I'll check out the Signet one. Thanks. Hopefully that will be better. Gotta love a good budget yarn, haven't you? I was always very keen on stylecraft. You probably remember back from some of my yarn haul videos. I bought a lot of stylecraft yarns, and they were great for toy making because they provided the certificates for free. But now Signet also provide the certificates for free, which is really lovely of them because they keep the law keeps changing, so you have to keep retesting the yarns, and it's not cheap. So when they provide the certificate for free is fantastic because a lot of places won't. I mean, King Cole will charge you £500 per colour to get a certificate from them, which is insane. Because if you're doing the test, it's £500 for the test, but normally you'd be testing 3 or 4 different colours to make sure that you can use due diligence on the rest. So they refuse to not only give the certificate for free, but they charge per colour instead of just one certificate, which is insane. It's just so rude. Oh, nice. Yeah, I wish I lived close enough to want to go wholesale. My wholesale stuff I have to get online. I mean, most of my wholesale stuff nowadays isn't pre-made stuff. It's undyed yarn for me to dye and fibre for me to spin nowadays. But I did used to get my Stylecraft wholesale. Um, but the company I used to buy it from actually stopped selling a lot of the colours. And though I contacted Stylecraft, they themselves don't deal with small businesses. They only deal with the really large businesses. And they recommended a company, and I said that's the one I'm with, who have stopped doing all the colours I want. So I ended up having to stop getting that wholesale. But it was not too bad because I stopped doing toys anyway. Like all the toys that I tested all those years ago are no good now. Um, for making new ones, the tests stand for when I made them, and that will stand for life. But any new toys you make have to meet the new requirements, which means testing the yarn again. And it's just such a hassle. I just can't keep doing it because you have to buy those certificates from the companies, other than Starcraft and Signet. If you use anything else, you have to buy it from them, and that's a lot of money to keep redoing all of the forms and everything. Yeah, Starcraft's definitely one of the thinner DKs, isn't it? I compared it to, I think I was using Hayfield Bonus or something, and I suddenly realised that Starcraft is much thinner um, than the other DKs I get, which really affected the size of the toys that I made. Yeah, yeah, this is the thing. The problem is now that they've changed the way they make their yarn, it's the same with the Aldi or Lidl yarn. I can't remember which one. I think it's Aldi's yarn. They have their yarn made by different factories. It's not always coming from the same factory, so there's not necessarily continue. I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. It doesn't that one from one factory is not necessarily the same as from the other factory, even though they're supposed to be the same thing, which makes it very hard to have due diligence for toy testing. And it's very hard just in general to say, oh yeah, I'll make this, and then the next customer wants it, and it's completely different if you've got the yarn from a different manufacturer. You can't have that sort of thing. You need to have guaranteed ones that are all made in the same factory to the same standards. Yeah, which is yeah. This is the thing. If it's China and Turkey have very different manufacturing standards, and you get some really lovely yarns from them. but they don't have the same weight, so their decays are different. There's slight different color way they dye the yarns means the colors are slightly different, and all these things add up. Um, and then with the testing, you have to make sure about the metals that are in them for babies to suck on them, and you have to guarantee that whichever manufacturer it's come from has met those requirements, and you can't do that if you don't know which one it's come from. Yeah, I'd only used Mariner yarns a couple of times and then they closed down. That's excuse me, sorry. That's where I actually got my cones yarn for my knitting machine. Uh, and yeah, now they're gone. So I need to look around. Though I've been trying to find a supplier for wool, merino, and things like that for my machines, and it's very hard to find in this country. I've been looking at hobby yarns. I tried a couple of their ones. I bought a few for tests, and they're beautiful yarns. But again, they're not quite what I need for the stuff that I make. Like for the knitting machine, I really need stuff on cones, um, and some of the stuff I found, like one of the yarns, I've got beautiful colours, but it's just too thin um, for the patterns that I planned on using it with. So one ball, which should have been a one ball project, is only half the project, especially on my knitting machines. So that's not been very good to use either, even though it's gorgeous yarn. Yeah, I do get some of my cones from. Now I'm going to butcher this name. Yeoman, is it? I always say either Yeoman or Yeoman. I don't know what the pronunciation is. But I've been buying my cotton yarns from them for years. But I haven't tried any of their other yarns. I'm tempted to, but I didn't know anyone else that used them to whether they were any good. And I was buying my undyed yarn by the cone from World of Wool. I think it's World of Wool. But I had some bad batches and it put me off. Um, but I might have to go back to them because finding another one, it's pronounced yeoman. Okay, thank you. This is what I need. I need people to tell me how things are pronounced because if you've been around long enough, you know I pronounce things so bad. And I will forget and I'll pronounce it wrong again. So just remind me that it's pronounced that way, but in a nice way. Some people are really rude about me pronouncing things wrong, but part of my health things with my fibro, my brain fog means that I say the wrong words, or I forget what I'm saying halfway through a conversation, or I mispronounce the word even though I know what it is. And some people get really rude about it, which does my head in. Oh, nice. My alpaca that I got, I actually literally up the road. Earlier, I mentioned I used to work in a pub. Well, that pub closed down, and the people who own it now have goats, sheep, chickens, pigs, and alpacas. And they gave me the fleece off the alpacas last year. Um, so my alpaca's literally walking distance has come from me, which is really lovely. Um, I actually do a whole bunch of crafts and I don't do one more than the other. It depends on what I feel like for the day. I do hand knit and I have a vintage knitting machine. I do crochet. I also do Tunisian crochet. I weave. So I have some weaving looms, inkle looms, Rigidedal looms. I also hand dye my own yarn. I also hand spin my own yarn. And then I also paint, draw, bead weaving, most crafts are glass etching, making bracelets and rings. I did these yesterday. I did these on the live no one came to yesterday. So bracelets and rings. I do a lot of different crafts. I do so many things, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm hoping to get the alpaca again this year. I've actually been making them toys from the alpaca. So I've been making them alpaca toys but I haven't finished them. And they gave me the fleece in June last year, I want to say, and I still haven't gave them the toys. One toy is finished, one is halfway finished, and I haven't even started the other. I had so many stalls last year that I just didn't have time to finish it. And instead of being a good girl and finishing them off this year, I haven't. I was good. I finished off my shawl that's there from the Stephen West mystery make along. I finished that one. I finished off some of the bead looming that I was doing. And finished off a couple of other projects this year that I had from last year, but I haven't finished off the toys. So I really should. Yeah, I recommend dyeing yarn. It's so much fun. My setup is in my garage, which is why I haven't done any yet, because it's so freaking cold that you can get frostbite in rinsing the yarn under the cold tap. It's just so painful. So that I only do it when it's a bit warmer. So I need to wait another month really to get yarn dyed, but I might have to grin and bear it because my first straw's in March and the weather's not warming up and I need to get some yarn dyed. So I might just have to brave it. Yeah, I've taken over this house. The conservatory is my craft room, and that is literally filled. You can't even get out the doors because I've just filled it all the way around with shelves and storage units. Um, so that's full almost to the top with craft stuff. And then some of it's resting here because I don't have anywhere to put it. And then I also have those collapsible tables I use for my stores. The 2 4-foot ones are both up. One I'm using for jigsaw puzzles, and one I currently have a good chunk of my beads on for beading, so they're over there. And we've taken to storing a bunch of it stock in the loft because I've run out of room to put any of it. And then the garage has my stuff for dyeing, so all of my dyes are out there, and the big boxes of citric acid and all my trays and my hobs and all that's all in the garage. But I'm also have plans to start doing tie-dye, so that will go out in the garage as well. And then I've got to find the room to put them, but I've been saving for a sublimation printer and heat press and mug press. I've been saving for about 2 years for that. But I plan on getting that this year. But I have no idea where I'm going to put them. There's literally no room, but I still want them, so I'm going to get them. See, it's perfectly reasonable. I have a craft business, so it's only reasonable that I take up a lot of space with my crafts, isn't it? Yeah, I keep getting told I should narrow down. I'm not going to narrow down. I like doing lots of different crafts, and I will continue to do lots of different crafts. I'm not going to stop and only make one thing. It's just I can't do that. I get too bored too easily. Oh wow, hour and a half, and in that last half hour, I've done that. I'll put this up in my Facebook page, Facebook group, once I finish it, so you can see it finished. I keep meaning to film a little crafty catch up showing all of the stuff that I've been doing because I've been spinning yarn and things. But I forget. I just sit down and start crafting a new thing instead of filming a video, which is why there's not been many videos going out this year because I'm too tired. My brain goes to sleep and I forget to do them. I did it end of last year. I was really good, and I got Trello, which is something my husband's work uses to keep track of everything. And I filled it all in, and for 2 weeks I used that exactly, knowing what I was doing, what had to be done, and all that. And then I haven't used it at all this year, so that was pointless. That is entirely reasonable, Joe, and a perfectly fair request. A bigger house to fit all your craft stuff in is not unreasonable in any shape or form. You should totally get him to do that. I keep telling Duncan, even though once the boys all move out, if they ever move out, and we move to a different place, we're still going to need a house with multiple rooms because I need rooms for my craft stuff. There's no point just going to a one bed place just for me and him because I need room for my craft stuff. So we still will need like a 4-bedroom house because I mean he's got a wood lathe in the garage. And we have plans for him to get copper drills and saws and all that set up as well to help because he's been helping build the inkle looms and the peg looms and the other things, drop spindles and things I've been designing. But there's no room in the garage right now for any of that because his lathe is actually covered. We've got all of our bikes in there, my old wheelchair in there, the manual just in case the electric breaks. And then just general stuff you have as a house full of people. So there's no room in it. So it's like we already need a bigger house, and we have a 4-bedroom house, and it's not big enough for all my past stuff, which is terrible. I mean, to be fair, Kurt, who's got the biggest room for the kids, he's filled his room with Magic the Gathering and Warhammer models. I do have Warhammer models out there too. I'm actually getting steady supply them too. Whereas Mally's got the next size room. He's my youngest, and his room is full of gaming stuff. And he also has an actual wheel, a tyre and a wheel from Formula 3. Because my middle son for a while worked changing the tyres on racing cars. He travelled around doing them, and he happened to be at a Formula 3 race, and they flat sported the tyre on like one lap, so it couldn't be used. They had to take it off, and they let him bring it home. And Mally got that for his birthday. So you can imagine he's in a small room. He's got this little shelf and this big tyre on it. So his room's taken up with his computer for his gaming. And then lots of stuff to do with cars. He actually is doing motorsport engineering because he's obsessed with race cars. So I can't put any of my craft stuff in their room because they've taken it up with their own stuff. How rude, isn't it? So I need more space. I need Duncan's parents' house. That's what I really need. Their house is definitely big enough for me to put all my stuff in. But I'm not going to get that house. Duncan's older brother will have that house once they decide to move on from it, which is a shame, but I can never afford it anyway. Yeah, 2 bedrooms doesn't leave you a lot of space, does it, Joe? Yeah, definitely you're going to have to tell no, you're going to have to get you a big house. It's fair, isn't it? But that's like one of my friends that comes to my craft group. She has a bed sit, so she really has no room for any of her craft stuff, bless her. And she's got a Cricut Joy, and that's about the only room she's got, along with her yarn from doing crochet. And she does sewing as well. So I think she's got a sewing machine as well, but tiny little space, so she doesn't have room for much at all. So she goes to one of her friend's house, who's another lady who comes to the craft group, and she's been using the Cricut maker that she's just got so that she can play with the Cricut maker, which is the same Cricut that I have. Oh yeah, I do Cricut crafts as well. So a lot. I think we all need bigger houses. This is the thing, people don't understand how much space craft stuff takes. It's not just little balls of yarn. You need enough to make any project you want to make at any time, because otherwise you have to go out to the shop, and you don't want to have to go out to the shop because by the time you've got there and then they don't have the yarn this week, you have to pick a new product to make, and then you have to pick that and then go out and buy that yarn. Whereas if you keep a large stash that's already in the house, you know what you're getting. That's my theory anyway. There's so many pretty sock yarns though, isn't there? I do love a good sock yarn. Weirdly, sock yarn's one of my worst sellers. Not a lot of people seem to buy sock yarn from me, so I'm guessing. Thing is I haven't got down. Like you get those sock yarns that are self patterning. I don't know how to dye that yet. So my ones are either tonal or variegated, or the odd one is semi self striping, but it's not self patterning. So I don't think my yarns sell well. My sock yarns don't sell well. Most people actually buy either my lace or my DK weight yarns for other stuff instead. I don't think you did, Joe. You're going to have to share. You have to put it in the group so I can have a look. Yeah, I don't think I saw that, did I? Wait, have a quick look. But I don't think you posted it in the group. No, I think the last time you shared anything about a bag of yarn was back in March 2020, which was actually really pretty yarn. I forgot about that. I wonder what you made with that. Yeah, then it's just mainly your toys and things you've shared, I think. Hiya, I'm going to try to say this right this time. Lonna? Did I get it right? It's like Donna, but with an owl, so Lonna. Hopefully I remembered and pronounced it correctly this time. Yay! See, I'm getting better. Couldn't really get much worse, to be fair, could I? I've just seen your message, Anita, about it not letting you comment unless you've got a channel. Were you able to comment without making a channel, or did you have to make a channel? I don't know why it's doing that. Are you still around, Anita? Yeah, I've instead of an hour long, I've actually we're at an hour 37, so I've been chatting a lot, but not getting a lot of things done. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. The only thing I've got blocked on mine is people putting links, I think. I don't think I blocked anything else, just to try to stop spammers. So you should have been able to post just as a in fact, I don't think I even have it locked to subscribers only. I think anyone's supposed to be able to post. So I don't know why it's not letting you post without a channel. That's weird. Maybe it's a new YouTube change. They keep changing things. I never quite know what's going on with it all. Strange. So I don't think I had a channel when I first started commenting on videos many, many years ago. I'm going to finish this tonight, I expect, and then I can show you it tomorrow, because let's face it, I'm not going to get that finished while we're live because I just talk too much. Ooh, what new toy you got? I'm nosy. Today I am working on a market bag. I have not got much done. We've been live for an hour and 39 minutes, and I started by just joining the two circles together after weaving in the ends and doing this. And that's all I've got done in an hour and 39 minutes. But in theory, the bag these will chain up, so it's like a mesh market bag, and then it will be able to tuck down and fold inside the bag and put a little clasp over the button, and you'd be able to carry that around instead of a big bag, and then when you need it, you just pop it on out. That's the theory, and hopefully it will work, but this is the first one I made, so we will see. Pixel 7. Ooh, time to play. I love playing on new gadgets. Each time I get a new phone, I don't get anything else done for the rest of the day because I sit there learning it, setting it up, seeing what wallpapers I can have and what ringtones and all that sort of stuff. I play a little too much on my gadgets. I've not actually seen anyone with the Pixel 7, so I don't know what it's like. But I've seen some videos, but not actual real life people with it. In our family, we tend to have two types of phone. There's those of us who have Apple, and then there's the ones who are on Android all have Samsung. And that's the only phones we tend to have in my family. Not intentionally, it's just the way it's worked out. So myself, my youngest, my middle son, and my husband, we all have iPhones, and my eldest has a Samsung, and then my mum has a Samsung. The rest of my siblings all have iPhones, I believe. I used to be an Android girl, and then one phone annoyed me so badly that after a week, I got rid of it, and I went to an iPhone, and I've not gone back. I miss the ability to change ringtones with an Android. I assume it's still the same. It was really easy to pick a ringtone routine, which is a little harder with an iPhone, but it does it otherwise. It does the job in it. That's all that matters. Yeah, if I miss my iPad, I sold my iPad many years ago, um, and I've regretted it ever since. I really want a new one again. So one day I'll get another one. Just don't overdo it. Don't I know the steroid injections can be really painful to get from what I gather, but then feel good for a while. But just don't overdo it and make yourself worse, because then you'll have to think that's one of the crafters that goes to the spinning group. She just come along to chat because she'd done her hand and wrist in, and she was getting a steroid injection on Wednesday, and she's like, "I'm going to be spinning." It's like, just don't overdo it. Gently does it. They are, aren't they? Ringtones on iPhones are a nightmare. I literally just have the basic thing it gives because I just couldn't be bothered to work out how to do it. Because it's all about putting the music into a folder on your computer to get into your phone, isn't it? That's too much hassle for me. Oh no, I only use circling needles. Some of the people in my craft group think that's really weird. I never use straight needles, even if I'm working on a straight project. I only use circling needles. I don't like straight needles now. You know what, Lana, me and you so like I say don't overdo it, but I do the same thing. Um, I actually had to be taught at my pain clinic to take breaks during the crafting. Part of the pain clinic therapy, we got to do different crafts, and they saw that my hands were really hurting, but I was just shaking them out and carrying on, and shaking them out and then carrying on. And they're like, "No, you have to stop. You have to stop and step away, let your hands recover, and then come back." And it's like they literally had to teach me because I just carry on and just make my pain worse, which is not the way to do it. Yeah, Joe, I'm sure you're the same, aren't you? It's just because um, I know that you have a lot of pain as well, don't you? So you, like us, just kind of work through it when you really shouldn't. I'm got some of those little short knit pro sock needles and cable um, to work on, and I couldn't get on with them. I ended up going back to the magic ring method because magic loop method because I just couldn't get on with the little ones. I'm sure there's a knack to it, and I'll have to practice on them. But I got confused, and I just couldn't make it work. You know what? My actual twin sister is complete opposite to me, so you're a much better twin. Me and my actual twin sister are. She doesn't do crafting. Her idea is of staying in and playing board games is a nightmare, whereas my idea, her going out and drinking and having fun with her mates, is my idea of a nightmare. We are the complete opposite ends of the scale. We're the least alike identical twins you'll find. Yeah, yeah. I thought yours was arthritis, Joe. Um, I suppose it's finding that balance, isn't it, between not overdoing it but also not stopping so much that you get too stiff. That's a similar thing with me in my hands. I don't know whether it's just a fibro thing with my hands. I don't know what it is, but I find if I do too much, my hands become really painful. But if I rest too much, they seize up and the joints, they basically start popping. You know, they don't move smoothly like they do now. They just pop into places and there's like no in between. And it's really painful. Sometimes my hands are like seized up in the mornings and my husband has to massage them to make them move again. So I have to continue doing class every day. Otherwise, it gets too bad to actually do anything. So it's that fine balance, isn't it? Oh, wow, that's brilliant. Let's hope no flare ups continue. Cross my fingers. This is the thing, I don't know if you have a specific point when your flare ups happen or not, whether you can guess when they're coming or not, but I never know when mine are coming. Ooh, yeah, that sounds painful. I'm quite lucky. Other than the if I don't use them or I use them too much, my hands are. If I keep within my balance, my hands are pretty good. Um, so I'm really lucky on that point. Whereas my shoulders and my hips and my knees and things, they just come and go as they please with no rhyme or reason. I never know what's too much and what's too little. Whereas my hands, I've got mostly under control. I had a friend who she would intentionally stab herself with stinging nettles in her hands, and apparently that helped relieve it for her. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to try that ever, but she had arthritis officially in her hands, and yes, she stabbed herself with stinging nails, and she said it used to relieve her pain all the time. But that just sounds really awful to me. Oh, I'm glad to say. Hopefully, it will continue to get less and less pain, and it'll be better. Yeah, I don't blame you, Joe. I wouldn't. No, just the thought of intentionally stinging myself with nettles. No, I don't mind drinking nettle tea, but I am not taking live nettles and putting them on my hands. I've stung myself accidentally before, and it hurt so bad, and it itched so bad. And I have eczema anyway, so scratching your hand and then scratching it more, it makes it worse. And I can't not scratch. I'm terrible. Duncan's always telling me off for scratching my skin when it's itching from my eczema. Exactly. Why just no? I don't care how much relief it would give. I can't bring myself to sting myself with nettles. This might be my least productive day today because I've literally done this and nothing else. I mean, I made 5 things yesterday. I made 3 rings and 2 bracelets, so 5 things. And with everything that goes with it, that was a reasonably productive day because I had to design them out, measure them all out, and everything. But today I've literally done this. But never mind. Tomorrow I'll be more productive, hopefully. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's like, let's play with a cactus, shall we? These bracelets were just test runs that I did yesterday to check what they like. I don't know if you can see them, but they're actually sold. One of the ladies that goes to my craft group, she saw the post I put up about them, and actually she doesn't care that they were test runs and they aren't perfect. She wants to buy them anyway. So that means at least yesterday I officially earned some money doing some work. Whereas this, um, yeah, I have to. Any fluids at all I have to drink, but I do have water. I also have juice, and then I have my lemonade. Um, but I have to continue drinking because my throat gets really, really dry and closed up. So if I'm talking much, you'll see that I drink quite a lot. I try not to have it too much when I'm doing lives, but I think you prefer that than me coughing up my guts. I actually have an asthma checkup on the 14th of February, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do much because I stopped taking my main asthma med because that gave me Cushing's syndrome. And the only way to get rid of the Cushing's syndrome was to come off my asthma meds. So whether they're going to be able to find something else that's going to work that will stop my throat being such a pain, I don't know. But I don't really mind. It's good for me to drink fluids anyway. I try to drink at least 2 liters of fluid a day, so and I mix it up. Yeah, I do. Normally I have a tea as well, a peppermint tea, but I haven't made one because I couldn't be bothered. But to be fair, the juice, I drink a litre of juice a day. But what it actually is a quarter of a litre of juice watered down to a litre so that it's not so much sugar. And this, I mean, it's not great. It has 4.4 grams of sugar. But, you know, it's only 18 calories. So, and I don't add sugar to any of my other drinks. I don't add sugar to my food or anything like that. So, in general, it's not an excessive amount of sugar that I have. So I don't think that's too bad. Yeah. Peppermint and nettle tea are my go-to teas when my tummy's playing up. And then mixed mint tea and spearmint and things like that. And my other fun drinks. I don't like the fruity drinks. So every time I say I tend to drink herbal teas, everyone's like, oh, I've got whatever berry drink. It's like I don't actually drink the fruity ones. I only like the nettles and the mints and things like that, the fennel and all them. I don't like the strawberry or the raspberry. I do drink the raspberry when it's mixed with echinacea because I do like the, probably saying that wrong, but I do like echinacea tea. So I do drink the raspberry when it's mixed with that, but on its own I wouldn't touch it. So, you know, it's not too bad. You see, the problem is I don't like honey. I used to make my own cough medicine for me and the kids, and we'd have sage and lemon and honey. And I'd have it for that. But I don't actually like honey. I find it too sweet. I don't like things that are too sweet. That's why I drink the bitter lemonades. Um, so I, my boys love honey and they add it to things, but I can't do that. So I literally just have my water in my tea bag, and that's all that goes into my herbal teas. Ooh, mango passion. I've not tried a mango passion fruit. I do like mango juice. There's probably mango in that one right now, actually. But I've not tried a mango passion fruit. I might have to look. I don't like berries. That's my main thing. Is I don't like berries, but I don't mind mango. I just don't like strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, black currants, red currants, all those sort of things. I don't like those. um, and cherries and things like that. But I don't mind mango, passion fruit, pineapple, all those ones. Um, so I'll have to look see if I can find a mango one. I wonder what brand might do that. Tesco's keep getting less and less range around here. I find a bunch I like and then they stop doing them, and so I have to find them elsewhere. Wild raspberry with hibiscus is interesting. I'm not sure I've liked that one. Really don't like raspberry. Okay, no worries, Joe. Thanks for coming along. It's so nice to have someone to chat with. I probably should head off soon myself. I'm about to hit 2 hours. I'm going to finish work an hour and a half, and I've got nothing done. Yeah, I'm trying to think if any of the teas I've had hibiscus in them. I'm sure some of them have. I've had some blends that have had hibiscus in, but I'm not sure I could tell whether I like the flavour of hibiscus because it's overpowered by some of the other ones. I might have to see what ones I've got in the cupboard because I do have quite a selection in the cupboard. In case anyone else comes round, not that anyone comes, but in case they do, I can say you can choose from the teas. You've probably got more done than I have. I'm so bad. I've not even finished this first roundlet. Sweet Dreams, is that a brand or might have to Google and look it up? I recently discovered from a Christmas market I went to that we actually have a New Forest. The New Forest is just down the road from me. And there's actually a tea company based in the New Forest. So I've had some of their teas and they are really nice. They do a spiced one with ginger in that, which during the winter I really like drinking, but during the summer I don't tend to like drinking ginger teas. So that one helps anyway. Oh, I do like my chamomile teas. And if it helps you sleep, I need something that helps me sleep. I had to stop taking chamomile teas for drinking chamomile teas for a while. One of my medicines interacted with chamomile, and it was a nightmare because I always had chamomile tea at night to help me sleep, and then I couldn't. And so I haven't had chamomile tea for a while, but I'm not on those meds anymore, so I could go back to drinking chamomile. So I'll have to get some in. A peach ginger. Ooh, I've not tried that. I might have to give that one a go. I'm going to have to Google all these, see if I can find anywhere that does them. We had a nice tea shop in town that sold teas and teapots and things, but they've closed down. So now it's relying on what Tesco's has or finding it online. So I need to find something, a better tea. I want to get a friend of mine years ago, she had this clear teapot and she had these flower teas. So it's literally like a flower you put in and it opened up. I want to get some of them because they were really nice. So I've been doing a little research, seeing if I can find them. I did find a company selling them, which I've bookmarked, but I've forgotten what they're called now. Ooh, let me write that down so I don't forget. And I'll look it up. Got my little notebook with all the stuff that I don't forget now. So I'm going to Google all these after I get off this live so I can check them all out. I don't write it down, I forget it because my brain is fried. I barely remember what I was doing yesterday, let alone what I was doing today. So people ask, what were you doing this time a year ago? I'm like, well, if Facebook's got it in memories, I can tell you. If it's not in Facebook memories, I can't tell you. So we've got Blossom and Stash. Was there any other ones? Sweet Dreams. Peach and Ginger. I think that was all of them, wasn't it? I can look them up. Got them down with my note as well for looking up Lily's channel when I'm done as well, so I can go and give it a follow. Okay, perfect. So I don't know if any of you watch Christine from Simply Now Logical. She has obsession with tea. She gets all of her teas from a company called David's Tea, which unfortunately is not available over here. So I couldn't get any of them, but some of them look really nice. Probably should go. So I can actually get something done, because I need to actually move, because you've probably seen I keep shifting. It's because the pain's getting a bit much. If I don't get up and move around every hour or so, the pain gets too much. But I've been enjoying chatting to you guys, so I didn't want to leave. If you're not already over on the Facebook group, do pop on over. It is linked in my About Me section on my channel, for my Facebook group. So pop on over and join up and say hi. And then you can share what you're working on. And then when I eventually get this finished, I can share it in there and show you. So the rate I'm going, it might still be going on. It might be still stupid in this next week. This is my concern. If I disappear, wander up and down to get my thing away, it's like someone's going to come and go, there's no one there, why? And then leave. It'll be just my luck. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, if I'm going to go for longer an hour next time, I think I need to make sure at the hour point I get up, wander backwards and forwards a bit, and then sit back down again, because I can't sit still for this long without the pain kicking in. But I think I really probably should be going at this point, shouldn't I, really? Because I'm never going to get this done if I don't actually sit down and do something. So I think I'm going to go. We've been going for 2 hours, 3 minutes. So it's been a hell of a chat today. It was so lovely having you all come along, and I've got my notes so I can go look it all up after. Probably wander around the house for a bit and then go and Google all them and see if I can find them, and then buy some tea on payday. But I hope you all have a fabulous day or evening, whatever time it is where you are. I know who said they were in early hours of this morning? It was like 8 o'clock in the morning where they were. I can't remember who said that now. See, brain sucks. But whatever time of day it is for you, I hope you have a lovely day, and hopefully I will see you next week. I don't know what day I go live. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'll pop it into my Facebook group. So hopefully those who are in there will be able to see that I'm going live, and hopefully YouTube will do its job and send out notifications, but who knows? We never know with YouTube. But otherwise, I will see you all soon, and do share in the Facebook group or down in the comments what you're up to. You all take care. Bye.